rhomboid table, not round or square or triangle. We come to hang, at the game on Fridays as we're able. We play well here in Camelot, we are chums and fun, but Camelot. We're at the rhomboid table, our host is formidable. He runs the train, lots insane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's automatic in Camelot, but seems never to have done a lot. Quite incomprehensible. To wrench in hand, we have no plan but to sit and hear Dutch babble. It's a lazy time in Camelot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
See it, you'll love it, and it's all done in the best possible way.
Hey everybody, it's Friday. Hope you're all well. Welcome to the great meeting hall here at Castle Camelot. Hope all you knights of the rhomboid table are doing well. Let's go straight to the greetings and then to the babble before we run the trains. We've got Sir Andrea Beckert, Willkommen. We've got Sir Lee from Anfield Road, Sir Colin of White, Sir Pete from Delft Junction, along with Dame Sue somewhere in the background probably. We got my lord Sir Alan Wiles from Dragon Junction. We got Sir James of Dundas Junction. We got Sir Greg from Great Northern. We have got Sir Andy, the hot dog pilot. Sir Jeff from Jeff's Train World. We've got Sir KJ. Welcome in. We've got Sir Mick, the Royal Barkeep, is here. So hit him up. Drinks are on the house or at the bar. We've got Sir Greg from Midsummer Railway. Great to see you, Greg. We've got Sir Dino from Model Railway Shed. We got Sir Clive of Newland Railway. We've got Sir Randall of Ellison. We have Sir Rayron is here. We've got Sir Dirk from Situations a Bit Wobbly, which the word wobbly is going to become, to me, already is very funny, but in a couple of weeks will be even funnier, I hope. Sir Tom of Couples. Sir Tom of Houston. Sir Tom of Couples, of course, the Sergeant at Arms of all us knights. Somebody just popped in. My list up above changed, but I'm not seeing it. So Sir Tom of Houston, Sir Eric from Bonn, Don Eisenbahn. I saw Ipo was here earlier. Sir Ipo was here earlier. Let's see, things are bouncy. So I just want to ask, and Sir Carl from Bangatcher Junction just popped in. So if you haven't chatted in a little while, you got to kind of pop in, because if you haven't chatted, I forget if it's 3 minutes or whatever, they pull you off the participant screen. So let me re-ask that question, because I don't even know if I finished or not. My brain is not on planet Earth right now. Aliens have kidnapped it. Eric, are you still in Germany, or are you back home in Wisconsin or somewhere in between? Hey, Sir Andy of March West Junction, welcome in. Obviously a big week. You can kind of see it sitting here. The new, I don't know, back it up here. The new toy, the Märklin ABA unit, I picked up after declaring right here live the last couple of weeks that I was not buying. I was done buying trains. My budget was shut. It was gone. I had emptied it. Well, except for a couple of dollars. Sir Aaron of Aaronville is here. Welcome in. At work already, came back yesterday. Okay. Well, from what you were posting in your shorts, the short videos, I don't know what you post in your shorts. That's a different story. But on the short videos, the ones I caught, it was looking pretty cool. It was a wonderful bit with you and your dad. Anyhow, let's see. Somebody else just came in. Sir Simon from SJ Train World, I believe, is now here. So, we had to buy a new oven, and so I had to take money out. We took, I asked Joyce, but we looked at prices. Depending on which model we wanted to buy, it would be X amount. So we took out sort of the highest dollar value, and then we looked at one, and we got it for a sale price or whatever gimmick they were doing to talk us into buying it. And that left some money. And of course, Joyce looked at me and said, what do I do with this extra money? Is there anything we want to do with it? She said, it's your money. Do you want to buy a train? And it really isn't. I mean, in a way, it's my money because it's my retirement bonus that is in investments right now. But it's our money. Everything Joyce and I have done since we met has been it's our money, our house, our plans. There's no just doing stuff like that. We will say that to each other. We will say, like, Joyce will get a bonus from some program she did at work, and she'll say, well, what do we do with this? And I'll say, it's your money. Treat yourself. But in the end, it's our money, and we don't have separate bank accounts like some couples do and all that. But anyhow, otherwise, it's been a quiet week. The set here is just brilliant. It runs great. I'm waiting for the coaches to arrive. According to my USPS app, they're supposed to be here tomorrow. I'm not believing it. The last I checked, they were in Indianapolis. They'll go from Indianapolis to Detroit, which is north of here. And depending on which highway, if they fly it, they'll fly over Toledo or just outside of Toledo. And if they drive it, they'll drive through Toledo because the main highway to get to Detroit from Indianapolis goes through Toledo. So really, they could just drop it off here on their way. Hey, hello, Sir Chase and Sir Ray of Bobel. Welcome in, gentlemen and gentlemen. Great to have you all here. So, I've wanted an Amtrak for a long time, but I want a modern era. I want an Acela or a Charger. Yeah, as long as it's the correct Toledo. But of course, Ifo, this is Toledo. And over in Spain, it's Toledo. Now, there is a Toledo, Illinois. There's a Toledo, Michigan. These are small little burbs that don't count. We are the one Toledo. Hey, Sir Anthony from Middleport Junction. Welcome in, welcome in. So anyhow, Yeah, so I bought it. I'm waiting for the coaches, and I'll do. Yeah, I saw you did. I saw you did that, and I think I commented on it, James. Yeah, I wanted to do the. I was going to try to do the coal car challenge, the coal wagon challenge, because I don't have any coal wagons. I guess I have some empty coal wagons, I guess. So I just found a bunch of famous Kohl's and a picture of a Kohl's department store, and I was going to print them up and just run them on a train that way to do one of my joke responses to challenges. But I never got around to it. So yeah, it's anyhow, going back, waiting on the train, waiting on the cars for this locomotive, and then hopefully this weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend. Joyce and I got something major we're involved with tomorrow, and then we will go on and see what else we do. Don't have any major plans this weekend or the following weekend. Those of you who are fans, Matt Clarke Series 4 Episode 3 came out. It's the first one that really had what I considered some good humor to it. I did get I get these comments and emails from some people. Alan Wiles and I were talking about it in a phone call we had earlier this week. But somebody complained that, well, it's all talk. Well, it's not animated. It's like listening to the old radio dramas. The voices and the sound effects tell the story because we don't have people running in. And I'm sorry, we live in an age where a movie has to have an explosion every 5 minutes to capture people's imagination. But the first two episodes have been kind of setting up the main plot as well as some situations for future plots. And today was the first one where it served three functions. It allowed me to bring in the minor characters who aren't going to be featured as much because everything else is in Europe. It allowed me to get some just silly humor and mess with the people from the Ecumenical Council. And I thought it was kind of funny to turn that. Normally they come in and a couple of them flirt with Daisy, and Daisy has to kind of crack the whip, and they're always annoying some bitch. So this time they come in and there's a deputy mayor and his wife. And so we kind of took that situation and flipped it on its side a bit and had a lot of fun with that. Hey, Sir Tim McDowd is here. Our CEO has arrived. So look lively, folks. The boss is here. And so, yeah, so this episode had a lot of zaniness to it. I was very happy with it. There were several jokes in it I liked. I love the somebody else besides Mayor Sumbish seeing Bell Buster and going, oh my God. And there was a couple of what I consider good jokes, but the one now next week is more exposition. Our characters arrive. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, it's not. Scene 5 is where our characters finally begin their European tour. They arrive in Southampton in episode 5. Episode 4 is more of the plot development between John Philip Steamhair and Ned to Go, which was mentioned in the episode that came out today. And also those of you who follow it, some of you might have caught at the end of episode 2, there's a little scene where Fredo shows up and you're wondering what's he doing there and what's he up to. And I meant to make it look nefarious. And then this scene, which actually occurs, the events of scene 3 occur before the events of scene 2, but I juxtaposed them on purpose. But you either care or you don't care. The infamous question, Jeff, that can take 5 minutes or 5 hours to answer that question. What can you do to get views? Especially when your channel, quote, starting out without a lot of subscribers. There are things that are easier to do and harder to do, but have a timely post, like every Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you're going to go live, it's harder to do. And if you have a odd work schedule, it's impossible to keep. But if you want to do lives, go consistently live at a certain time and, budget an hour or half an hour or whatever. there's a lot of live streams, so you kind of have to see who's there. For example, Mondays at 7 o'clock is a very popular Canadian channel. Sundays at 8 p.m. is a very popular group of guys called Sidetrack Sunday. Thursday at 8 o'clock is another group of Canadians. And then there's all these other shows, and they draw a lot of people. And if you go on against them, you're less likely to get them. 8 p.m. to get viewers on the live streams. But timely posts, I personally think one of the big things you got to do is you got to be a personality. And I don't mean create a character. I mean, be a presence in your videos. Some people can't do that. They don't want to be on screen. They don't want to be on camera. And I totally get that. But I think if you make yourself a presence on screen, here's who I am, here's what I'm trying to do, and then make sure you're being seen on other people's channels. When you're being seen on other people's channels, they're going to come and check you out and then see if you're offering something they're interested in. If you're running Engage, highlight the Engage. If you're doing, if you're just like me, I've cut my little corner of YouTube out that I've been on YouTube as a model train guy for 8 years, but I've been doing what I'm doing the way I do it now for about 4 to 5. I started with live streams 5 years ago, and I was doing them all the time. And then I just picked Friday at 3 o'clock because it fit my work schedule at the time. And now I haven't missed a Friday in all those years. But consistency, and then just running sessions, talk about your trains. Here's my collection. Here's what I'm building. If you're going to say, hey, I'm about to do some ballasting and I want to show people how I do my ballasting, little building tricks. Because yes, the average model train guy loves to see construction. They like to see things being built. Or if it's already built, go on from there. But, the thing is, if your goal is to try to be a professional and get a big channel, there is no easy answer to that. There are channels that are big and popular, and everybody says, oh, the algorithms, the YouTube algorithms. So, YouTube's algorithms are about the rich get richer. In other words, what they think is going to get them, they want you to get views. A lot of people go, oh, YouTube won't promote my stuff. Well, YouTube will promote your stuff if they notice people watching it. But then you got to sign up for all those YouTube things. If you're not doing this for YouTube monetization, that if you're not letting them throw commercials on every 5 minutes, then they won't promote it as much because you're not making them as much money. So you don't go on suggested lists. Despite my size, my videos don't get watched a lot because A, I don't do content a lot of model train people want to see. And B, I minimize the advertising. I do everything I can to keep advertising off my videos. I can't get it completely off because I'm monetized. I am monetized, but I don't do super chats. And YouTube is upset that I don't do super chats because they get a piece of that super chat. So if I don't do it, I'm keeping them from getting money. So they're not going to throw my videos out there. If I were doing super chats on my live streams and on my videos, they would do that. I'm not a member of some of their, you guys have got to see this. See right now, YouTube. Now would be a good time to insert ads. That just popped up, and I don't do it, and YouTube doesn't like that I don't do it. And I get emails like, why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? Why are you not, letting us make you money? Because I'm not about making money. I monetize because they're throwing commercials on my videos anyhow, and I wanted a piece of what they're taking from me. But I minimize it. I could demonetize. I'd still get some commercials on my channel because once your channel gets so many views, they throw commercials on it anyhow. There's a lot of people I know that are not monetized, but if you click on their video, there's commercials on it. So anyhow, I'm ignoring the chat. Hey, Sir John from Mystic. So, and Sir Simon from Model Railway. But, the thing is, YouTube can be, if you let YouTube annoy you like that, it can be annoying. I don't, because in the end, I thank YouTube. YouTube gave me a chance to meet people. I have met so many people that are in this chat where I have met them physically, and I talk to them on the phone and through video chats. And these are people I enjoy chatting with and I love meeting, and I consider them friends. And so it's wonderful. YouTube has given me this opportunity. It's made the world a smaller place. And I am able to tune out, like here. We don't allow politics. We don't allow religion, because that immediately gets people arguing and angry. And anybody who knows my Facebook channel, which is where I do my politics and social stuff, you get a very strong that my Joyce and I are very strongly politically active. But we don't bring it here. This is our safe house. This is everybody's welcome here. We can all get along. We can all share the love of trains and share a laugh. Also, it's allowed me to reinvent my creative side. I had a book published. I was a serious writer. I wrote for some magazines. I wanted to be a poet. I got a book published. It bombed. And when it bombed, it ripped my heart out. Because I really thought my goal as a kid was to get a book and become a known writer. And it bombed, so that I can't get callbacks from publishing houses. I've got a second book done and a third book that I started working on, and I haven't written short stories or poetry in about 20 years, well, 15 years, since my book bombed. And I just hit sort of a why, and I just kind of lost. And I buried it. And then I started I forget which came first, the parody songs or the Matt Clarke stuff. But the two of them, I don't care if you guys like any of the Matt Clarke stuff or the parody songs. I have a blast doing them. And my creative side and my sense of humor have been re-energized and reborn because a guy on YouTube named Randall Ellison mentioned a silly cowboy show. I started making jokes about it, and it exploded into the Matt Clarke. And I've written 3 seasons and 4 Christmas specials, and I'm doing a 4th season now. And I don't care if only 50 people watch it. I would love more to watch it, of course. I'm not stupid. But in the end, I've made Joyce laugh. I've made my kids laugh. Well, 2 of my 3 kids. I've made some of you laugh. And if you two weren't here, I would never have those positive vibes. So, and that led me to what I wanted to talk about, but we're already 20 minutes in and I haven't run trains. So I'll try to get to that, get the trains running here real quick. But the one problem is that when you put yourself out there, when you put yourself on YouTube, we talk about having a thick skin. When you put yourself out there, people forget you're some guy or woman in your home. They're watching it on their TV, they're watching it on their tablet with all these movies and all these sporting events, and they forget we're not all professionals. Forget the rivet counters in the model train community. The people that watch your video and want to complain about the lighting or the sound or the lack of animation in your video or this or that. You know, it's bad enough you get the people like, I don't like their trees, or you need to get better trees. And it's like, I don't give a shit about the trees on my layout. I've got a bunch of trees on my layout because it's better than no trees on my layout. When the time comes, and it took 5 years to get this far, when the time comes, I'll put better trees in proper locations. But for now, I just think it looks better to have trees than to not have trees, even if they're cheap Chinese trees. And, you know, not all trees are 30 foot high. Some are young trees, 6 foot high, some, but it's just one of those things. People want to, well, that's not the proper consist for that train. Yeah, but I chose to run it. And it's those 3 rules, you know, it's your layout, do what you want. And other people need to leave you alone about it. It's not your job, you know, because the worst thing in the world are those helpful Henrys, those hooray Henrys that are, I'm just trying to help. And the first question is, did they ask you for help? If they asked you for help, fire away. But if they didn't ask you for help, shut up. Don't type anything. Don't say anything. I will ask if I think I need to know. So I know I've got 4 or 5 people that watch my channel that are big Märklin people. I've got Raymond Legs. I've got Ifo Banzan. I got Jean-Philippe Ricard. I've got Pedro the Mountain Man. I've got Roco. I've got 5, 6 guys that know Märklin or the European train market inside out, that if I need help, bam, they're my encyclopedias. They'll answer the questions. They will let me know. And, you know, the key is if somebody's not asking, don't feel the need to educate them. And it gets people because, you know, a friend of mine, somebody who was in the chat today, was building a layout, took it to the show, and you guys all saw a few weeks ago in the UK the video from that model train guy or whatever his name is, that train guy, that model train guy, whatever, who posted about somebody he knew that got ripped on. Well, this just happened a week and a half ago to a friend of mine, a friend of ours, where he went to an exhibition. They let him set up his show, and then one person wrote a letter from the club saying, well, this was a piece of crap, and you really need to fix this. It really was. It's like, it was in process. He mentioned it was in progress, that he's still working on it. And for one old fuddy-duddy to just write such a nasty letter, especially after the brouhaha when the model train guy posted his stuff about somebody from a club doing the exact same thing, for somebody else to turn around and do it is just, wow, how cold-hearted are you? Love the model. Yeah, I'm Ray Ron, you got to know something. I'm actually in one of my moods where, to be honest, 20 minutes before coming on, I'm telling myself I don't want to go live today. I'm not in a great headspace. I'm not in a great thing, but I know coming on, and I've been feeling this way a lot, and it's not the pressure of doing the show. It's just so much is going on. I'm not in a headspace, but I know this live stream will make me feel better, except for the half an hour I have to fight the gremlins the last few weeks. So I'll get off my high horse and stop preaching to the congregation here, and let's go look at trains. So what have we got on today? We have got, as long as everybody wants to work today, we have got my Railjet. He has not made an appearance in a while, or she. I genderify my trains. I do genderify my trains. Genderize, genderify. I'm trying to get his function out here, and it either goes to or, there we go. All right, so let's get him on the road. I used to be reading at 120 kilometers an hour top speed. Uh-oh. All right, so number 2 is my ICE4. Did I get the lights on? And he has not run in a while. I love the ICE4s, but the Märklin ones don't have a powerful enough engine for the size of the train, because this is my longest train. The ICE4 is my longest train. EFO, yes it did, or at least, yeah, the outer box had the flames on it. That it had the same design as what's on the, it's a Roco, and I bought it in the one with the horseshoes. Okay, so speaking of Railjets, we have the Czech Railjet ready to get rolling. So let's get that Czech Railjet up to speed. That Piko locomotive. Hang on. Wow. I just now noticed my mic is not wanting to work. Why did you do that? All right, let me see if that's better. Is that helping a little bit? Sorry about that. I did not catch that. StreamYard changed my microphone again. Let me know if that seems to fix the problem. Okay. Now we'll try this one. We'll see if this one fixed. Hello, Sir Christopher Mondone. Okay, yeah. The StreamYard changed it to a camera mic. So you were hearing the mic from that camera down there. I did a mic test, but I didn't look at what mic it had. I did a mic test that said mic good, and I'd even look at what mic it had set up. So sorry about that, my friends, all this time, all that. So, yeah. Hopefully that's the only gremlin today. All right, let's get the next train going. And then I'm running sort of a Heritage Rheingold, except one of the cars is out of commission. It got broken when my cats trashed everything. So let's see how it does. Okay. Not sure why we just had that slow down. All right, who's causing the slowdown? Huh. Weird, weird, weird. And let me get this guy going. Okay, so there. Let's get everybody just staying in action. Now I can actually catch up with all the chat. Huh. I want to know who's causing that little... Gotta keep an eye on that. Every now and then I'm getting a little pause.
Hello, Sir Alan of Reynolds, if I didn't say hi to you. And hello, Sir Brad from Willow Creek. And did I see Lord Monsville is here? I wonder if it's that IC4 causing problems. Got to be a different bug every week, huh? All right, it says somebody is causing a short. Okay, who is causing the short? Is somebody derailed? I don't think so. Oh, yeah, you are. All right. Okay. One of the Rheingold cars derailed. Let's see if that fixed it. Okay. Might just be that it wasn't on completely and just finally bumped off on a curve. I did use my re-railer to put everybody on, but the gremlins targeted you. Yeah, it's been something weird. It's been something different each week. I had one show 3 weeks ago where nothing went wrong, but Oktoberfest, the trains ran beautifully. It was the internet acting up. And then 1 week, it was like 3 different trains just wanted to keep derailing. Another week, I had one train that wanted to just keep uncoupled, even though I've never had that problem with that train before. It just kept uncoupling. Uh-oh. Are they doing it again? I think they're having problems going over that. And there he goes again. Okay, we are having the same problem. I think it's that same car. Didn't look like it was uncoupled. Or, I mean, is it somebody else this time? You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. None of the switches are partially open. All right, I'm going to turn this guy off for a second and just see if everybody else runs okay. Where is he? He should be on here. Let's turn this down. Let's turn this off. And if everybody else runs, I'm just going to take those Rheingold cars off and put something else on. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. But the first 2 times it was that coach was derailed. But yeah, that seems to be what's causing the slowdown. So I'll just let him stay parked and I'll run the other 5. Or I'll just let everybody keep running right now and see if that, try to source the problem. All right, let's get to some cameras rolling. But yeah, I just parked the Rheingold right now. Who do I want to turn up?
the ICE Fire. Let's get him going. The Czech Railjet can have a little speed added. The Austrian Railjet's running good. The ICE 4 is running the way it should. And hello, Sir Brian from Clintonville. Yeah, the templates are great. I don't know. Do you really have that many gremlins, Dave? When I watch, everything seems to be running well, but maybe it's after I go to bed. Oh, you sparked there, dude. But what's interesting is that one car is not lit up. This first car is not lighting up, and he's supposed to light up. Oh, don't knock anything over, Anthony. I will mess with you this weekend and find out why you're acting up. Huh. All right, now, whom should I bring out of the parking area? Because that's the easiest place to pull out a train. Do I do red or gray? Do I do red or gray? Who do I want to pull out? Oh, I didn't get the floor running. I'm sorry, gentlemen. Let's go to the floor cam and get these guys in action. Sorry about that. Been trying to sort out one problem. Hey, is that Sir Brian of Finnerton Central is here? Hello, Brian, my friend. Great to have you, Sir Brian. Joyce is doing okay. She's had a very, very hectic, busy week. She has an appointment after work today, so Joyce will not be joining the live stream unless she somehow gets out of her appointment early to make it home. But if she gets out early, she's probably going to call me or text me and say, you want me to pick up dinner on the way home? All right, so now I didn't turn his lights on, so let's get that out of the way. And yeah, I've got so many glitches. I need to get this rebooted.
So no AFib episode. Well, that's very good news. Congratulations to you. Anthony, as you may know, was Gets last weekend. You went to the bar restaurant to meet the YouTubers. I got to get the rest of that. There's a ... Yeah, I was jealous of all you getting to meet each other again, especially those of you who came this year who didn't come to Gets last year. My good friend Kevin Carter from Medway Peninsula Railway. He came to Gets this year after giving it a miss last year. I would love to have met Kevin. Graham from Lakeside Junction was there. It would have been a real privilege to meet him after all these years of talking to him. He's such a great guy. My double was there. Who's stealing my look? And for God's sake, why would they want to steal my look? I mean, if they were here in America where they might try to steal Joyce, it would make sense. But other than that, no. Well, hello, Martin from Shedmouth Junction. Welcome in. So you can't type with the chat. All right, I'm trying to decide who I'm going to dig out of the. Dare I bring him out? Dare I bring that one out? Whom do I bring out? I suppose I could turn everything off and just put the Amtrak over there and let the Amtrak run. Oh, why not? Hang on, guys. I'm going to stop everything for a second and let's have some fun. It was lane 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Man, I can't imagine putting the big boy on with this thing's crazy with all the wheels it has, and the big boy has even more. And no, I am not planning on ever getting a big boy. I wanted a modern Amtrak. All right, let's see if the Amtrak works and no issues. So let's turn everybody else back on. Are your lights working, buddy? Huh. Am I going to have more issues? All right, I'm just going to run the Amtrak. So why not? I know it might take away some of the fun, but we'll just run the Amtrak. So let me get I don't know, the 11-lane view. Is that the best one for it? Or the workstation view? The nice thing about PKSNS is they can always change. Hey, hello, Sir Jason from the Colonel Cotton Belt. From the Cotton Belt. F7 units in Germany. Why not? Yeah, Christopher, it always starts from the outside in. It always starts, Sir Christopher Mondoni, it starts from the outside in. So 1 is the outermost loop, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 is that little one right there where the blue guy is going around. Well, the dark blue guy with the yellow. So it's always
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, I saw you coming. And then 6 is all the way in there. That's 6. So 1 is the outermost. 1 is radius 5 curves in the Märklin system, which is about, 23 and a half inches. I think if you translate it, 23, 24 and a half, if you translate it. And then it's radius 4s, which are like 22 inches. Radius 3 on lines 4 and 5. So it's radius 5, radius 4, radius 4, radius 3, radius 3, and then the inner loop is radius 2. And the parking loops are radius 2. Well, it doesn't disqualify me. I still categorize as outsider in so many ways. You know, I'm an American running European trains, and now I'm running an American train on a European layout. I'm American running 3 rail. There aren't many of us. I mean, there's a lot of us scattered around the country, but I didn't grow up with any connection to trains. I didn't play with trains when I was young. I had no connection to them, like most modelers do. That's why I always call myself the outsider, even if I've got all these subs now and have people that like my channel. And I just like to play with trains. I don't take too much of it seriously. I just, you know, I went 5 years without doing any building at all on my layout. I just had track and some grass mats in a couple of places. And then this year I got crazy and I grassed everything. And yeah, I love, and there's a part of me that says, why didn't you do this 5 years ago? And because I didn't. All right, so Alan Reynolds is leaving us. All right, well, thank you for visiting. It's always nice to see you, Alan. Alan out. Take care. I don't know what it is about certain names from the UK. It's like I have so many friends named Andy in the UK. And literally, from the late Somerset Andy to Hot Dog Pilot Andy, Andy at March West Junction, Andy Cummins, so many Andys, and I apologize to any Andy I forgot. Andy at Moorway Model Railway. All these guys, they're just, every Andy is brilliant. There's something in the name Andy. And having said that, I'll probably come across an Andy that's a jerk. But seriously, every Andy I've gotten to know on YouTube in the train world is just a really brilliant guy. Just a wonderful person. I only know a few Allens, but they're all great, whether they spell with 1 L or 2. Just all the Allens I know are great. With the pizza cutter wheels. Oh, I know, Jason. I know you're teasing. I just I self-identify, so I always have to make sure I live up to my own credentials. I have to make sure. Wait, no, I cannot. You cannot call me an insider now. I know Steve Childers likes to call me the insider now, and it's like I actually kind of get. I am an outsider, and I shall be an outsider. How dare you call me an insider? I don't take that insult from anybody. Bing, there, now your lights are on. I'll tell you one thing, the IC4 is running super quiet. It struggles with the inclines a bit, but it's running smooth and quiet. It just needs a really flat surface. Or, Märklin, a stronger motor. Like this Amtrak has I accidentally stopped the Railjet. Oops. Hey, Railjet, why'd you stop? Uh-oh. This might break my heart. Oh, there it goes. Huh. Huh, weird. The Railjet just kind of said, nah, I'm stopping. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down, Tx. Slow down. Slow down. Huh. Is his headlights not working for some reason? I can't figure that out. No, they're on. Huh. They look like, okay, my eyes are just messing with me. I'm getting old. It was a flag stop. Hey, Sir Raymond Anthony, welcome in. Great to have you. You know, the IC3 motors, and maybe it's the same motor. I mean, you guys can tell me, those of you who know, but for whatever reason, my 5-car IC4, the other IC4 I have, even as a 5-car set, it does okay on the incline, but it does have a slowdown. This guy's pushing 10 cars. So, you know, my ICE 3s can run 8, 9 cars and have no issue. But for some reason, my two IC4s, they struggle on the inclines a bit. Oh, worst couplers ever. Tonight's Tipple and Mythos. Okay, I'm behind one. Has it run out of jet fuel? Yeah, it may have, although right now it's going. Anyhow, so yeah, you guys are getting to see the there it goes. So what do you think of that Amtrak? Yeah, I know. I'm not a fan of F7s aesthetically. I'm not saying they're in reality they're bad locomotives, just as model trains, they're not my aesthete, shall we say. They're not my artistic vision. But I'm tired of waiting for I'm tired of waiting for Märklin to produce an Amtrak in 3-rail. And I am going to do not an all Amtrak show, but I will be running all 3 of my Amtraks next week. Yep, Lionel is still holds on to that 3-rail. Why change a winning combination? Well, hello, Sir Craig from CMD. Couple of great videos. One you shared earlier this week, last weekend from Bazi. And then I'll tell you what, though, the Austrian Railjet's run the best it's ever run. And then you had a couple of bits. I am going to say something, and I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but somebody always will. I sit here all the time and tell you, anybody I'm subscribed to, which isn't a lot, I'm subscribed to around 500 channels. I watch every video, and I comment on every video unless I miss one, because like I've got some friends that post multiple videos a day, and sometimes I'll comment on just one. I'll just say, nice videos today, because it's hard for me to keep up with all the videos, because most of the channels I'm subscribed to publish multiple times a week. I know a lot of you don't, but many channels I'm subscribed to publish multiple times a week. But shorts, oh my goodness, I cannot keep up with the short videos. I miss 90% of your short videos, guys. If I do catch a short, because again, I have several channels that can put 10, 15, 20 shorts up in a day, almost every day. And so my short feed, which is one line on my computer, they could disappear. So every now and then I'll catch somebody because I'll look at it and go, oh, they've got a cool train, click. But for the most part, I'm stuck on videos. It's hard for me to keep up with the shorts. For mobile repairs on the system. That's cool, Andre. Und ja, Andre, es war mir interessant, dass Sie auf dem Holbeinplatz waren. Weil Joyce und ich auch da waren. Zweimal auch da waren. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. It's been 4 months since I spoke German. Ask you how you know. Oh, see, the problem is watching this feed instead of the other feed. I don't see when I'm highlighted. So I just noticed a couple of highlighted comments. You forgot about class 44, 45, and 46 in the UK, which had F-style noses. Okay. Yeah, it was amazing, and it's cool to learn that stuff. But yeah, Joyce and I went to Holbeinplatz a couple of times. We took a tram to Holbeinplatz to catch another tram up to was it at Holbeinplatz? We got on to go to Warnemünde. It might be that we got on at Holbeinplatz to go up to Warnemünde. I think that's when it was. Is everyone well? It's hello, do not touch the live. Welcome in. And hello, speaking of another great Andy. Hello, Sir Andy T, 741. And hallo, Christophs Modell Eisenbahn. Halb null und M. HO and HOM. Oh, that's interesting, Christopher. No, in my house, it was English, or we had the old German relatives who would speak German now and then. Because, well, hello, Dame Tammy and Sir Ray. Great to have you guys here. Because, you know, the Dodge part of my family is English. Okay, we're English. We've been in America since the 1650s. But my grandfather married a German woman. She brought her whole family over she emigrated to the United States with her family. And between 1897 or whatever, when she came over, and say 1913, 1914, a couple of dozen members of her family also came over. And so she married my grandfather, but sisters and cousins of hers married other members of my family. You know, no cousin marrying cousin business. But so, yeah, a lot of those Germans married into the Dodge family. So when we would go to Dodge family reunions, there was a lot of German speakers there, all from my grandmother's family. And then, of course, my uncle who flew bombers during World War II, married a German girl because he stayed stationed in Germany after the war for a couple of years. He did the Berlin airlift. He married a German girl and brought her and her family over. So my Aunt Frida. Bonsoir, Titiari. Well, we were around 60. I won't say it was specifically 1650. It was just around the 1650s. Because that's one of the things in our trip to the UK next year. I'm going to go to the only places where I have specific names of places and see if I can find any traces of my ancestors. We're looking at staying in a town called Yeovil. Nothing's etched in stone, but we're looking at staying in a town called Yeovil. And from Yeovil, we're going to go down to East Coker and Middle Chinook. I don't know if they say Chinook or Chinook. So we're going to go down there. And we'll go up to Bristol. And hopefully, while we're in that area, we'll hook up with Roger from St. Warley. No. I'll give you. God, the brain just is not working today. But we'd like to hook up with Roger. And we also want to go back into Cardiff. But we also want to go down to Dawlish and see the seawall in Dawlish. We'd like to ride the train along the seawall, especially if we could catch a day where the waves are blowing over it, but not enough that they have to close it. Hello, SJB Media. Yeah, Finnerton. Joyce and I are now leaning, instead of going to York, because we talked about we're going to go to York and have a weekend, and then everybody could come to York if they wanted to meet us if they could. Instead of going to York, we're going to go to the Severn Valley Railway instead, because it'll be something new and different, which Joyce likes the sound of that. But also, the other reason is because half of the York National Railway Museum is going to be closed when we're there. Because they currently, I believe, both, all the wings are open, but they're now going to start the second half of the renovations, and they're going to close off the section with Mallard and the Duchess and all that stuff over there. And that kind of defeats the purpose of going if half the museum is closed. So we are thinking of going to the Severn Valley instead and then seeing if people could meet us there. Now, we mentioned that either last week or the week before, and nobody said, no, I can't go to Severn Valley. But obviously, York is closer to a lot of people. And the Severn Valley is closer to a lot of people. But we're liking the idea of the Severn Valley because it would be new, it would be different. And if we stay in the Birmingham area, then I could go down and see the Bosworth battlefield. I could still go over and catch it would be a bit of a ride, but I could still go catch the Towton battlefield. And so there would be some things to do in that, up in that region, as well as we got friends up there. Christopher, who you guys know as Sakura Densha, or his, whatever, I forget exactly, Gaijin, whatever his Japanese channel is, Woodbridge. I think his British channel is Woodbridge. Hey, Sir Chris of the Valleys. If I didn't say hello to you earlier, hello. The Severn Valley is your backyard. And did I see Pete is taken off? Getting your DNA tested is one of the most interesting things. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Good night, Pete and Sue from Delft Junction. Always a pleasure to have you guys around. We appreciate it. But, I don't want it to sound egotistical. Like, oh, everybody wants to meet us. But we want to meet a lot of you, and many of you have expressed that, yes. Like, a lot of you said, yeah, you would come to York to meet us, which is awesome. But instead of York, we're leaning towards doing Severn Valley. Decision won't be made until December at the earliest. Yeah, Severn Valley's 2.5 hours from you. Your family has a coat of arms. My family does too. We do have a coat of arms. I have not been changing cameras here. I need to time that about 5 seconds earlier, and you've seen all 3 of those trains going through. Yeah, you got one. And there you can see it racing up the back. Wow, that Railjet is flying today. I am trying to cut his speed down, but he's flying and he's going up the hill beautifully. Yeah, the UK is pretty big, but the biggest difference in the UK versus continental Europe is that, like in Germany specifically, it is easy to get to the smaller towns by train and public transportation. In the UK, it's a little harder. You got the trains go to a lot of the big and mid-sized towns, but the little way off the places, there's no easy access. We discovered in 2022 when we were in the UK. Brian, we are coming over in June. So 7 months from now or 8 months from now, June. You have a coat of arms, but it's 957. Oh, I forgot there's a couple of deer that are down. The hunters were thinning their herd on the one backside. I noticed when I was filming my video. Oh, that's a cool shot, seeing the 2 trains flying by. Zoom. Yeah, I had my camera ready this time. No kidding. Of all the things it gets, there's only one regret. And that was that all the time you and I chatted after all these years, and you're the one person we didn't get a selfie with, because we said we would get a selfie, and then we wound up not hooking back up until we were walking out and you had to be somewhere in a hurry. And then it was like, oops. And I am very sad about that. Very, very sad about that. Of all the people I got selfies with, you're the one person I wanted a selfie with and didn't get. Joyce and I feel very bad we didn't get our picture taken with you. Let's see, add, image. Okay, browse. Is it in this area? Let's see. I want to make sure I get the correct one, because there's a lot of variations of it, but there's a proper one. And then in the Victorian age, they cleaned it up. Okay, that's a little one. But here is the Dodge coat of arms. with an English translation of one of the family. That's not the proper family motto, but this is a variation that one part of the family did, but at least they kept it true. This is not the proper one, but this is one of the ones that has, yes, that is a lactating breast. That is described on a scroll from the early 14th century, that the coat of arms of the Dodge family had a lactating breast, and there is no denying. Let's just say I understand why one of my ancestors wanted a breast on their family coat of arms. If you saw Joyce, you'd understand. My daughter, if she's watching, which she probably isn't, is probably just shaking her head going, "Dad, you're disgusting." Yes. Yes, I am. And I'm your father. This is a more accurate version of the official coat of arms. You got the helmet, and then you got the sea dog on the top of the helmet. But yeah, that's the Dodge family coat of arms. In the Victorian age, actually, I think way before the Victorian age, maybe even the Georgian age, somebody in the family, especially the American side of the family, decided that a lactating breast was not proper, and they changed the middle symbol to an I, and the milk drops became teardrops. Let's see. Is that, hey, there's Woodgate Junction. That's what I see. Is that a different Anthony? Or are you asking me, have I done much tabletop? I mean, this is the only railway I do, along with the UK stuff down on the floor. Hey, hello, Sir Kyle from Kyle Aviation. Your birthday is tomorrow. Well, an early happy birthday to you. Or I'm sorry, I don't say happy birthday. I just did, but I don't. My official greeting is a more appropriate greeting, because tomorrow is not your birthday. It is your Happy Womb Liberation Memorial Day. It is not your birthday. It is your Womb Liberation Memorial Day. Your birthday was how many years ago when you popped out of your mom's womb? It is your birthday anniversary, or as we like to say, your womb anniversary, your Womb Liberation anniversary. Yes, I did come. Hello, Ian. Has something to do with the fall of the Holy Roman Empire? Well, you're up in that area. Prussians had a lot to do with the fall of the Holy Roman Empire. Now, again, for those of you who are not history buffs, you hear the term Holy Roman Empire. Holy Roman Empire is what Germany and several smaller countries that were controlled by German states was called officially from the year 963 until 1804, when Emperor Leopold II of the Holy Roman Empire decreed the empire null and void and announced the Austrian Empire of the Habsburg family instead, and became Leopold I. So he is Leopold II and last Holy Roman Emperor. But that's the joke we always told when I taught history. The Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman, and was barely an empire. Now, technically, an empire is a collection of kingdoms with one guy on top. But the one guy on top was rarely in charge. You had a couple of eras where the Holy Roman Emperor was in charge. But most of the time, his nobility was constantly just ignoring everything he said, especially once the Habsburgs took over. They just got sick of the nobles. And finally, in 1804, with threats of Napoleon trying to become Emperor of the French and get the throne of the Holy Roman Emperor, he declared it null and void and basically told everybody, you're on your own. Change the surname? Okay. No, we don't have anybody in our history. Now, the spelling and pronunciation of our name changed. For example, my ancestor that was knighted and therefore awarded a coat of arms, his name was Peter Doge, and it was spelled, it was a French name, and it was spelled D-O-G-G-E, Doge, and then became Doge, and then it got spelled D-O-D-G-E. And supposedly people with the last name Hodge, H-O-D-G-E, are an offshoot of that family. So technically I could have cousins, long distant cousins with the last name Hodge. But some like 75% of the Dodges in the United States are descended from three brothers who came over in the 1600s. Oh, Blucher, Frau Blucher. No, I'm sorry. Where is he? There he comes. I'm sorry. I'm babbling about everything and should be changing the screens. There comes that. Yeah, I got to work on his lights. His lights were working, but they were dimming and flashing when I was messing with them. But when they ran in, they were looking pretty good. But now his lights are very dim. So yeah, I mean, I'm related to the car company. They were the guys who started the car company. Actually, my great-grandfather helped start the car company. My great-grandfather worked as a mechanic for Henry Ford, and Henry Ford's top two engineers, the guys who actually designed the Model T and the Model A, were the Dodge brothers. And then their cousin, my great-grandfather, when they split with Ford and formed the Dodge Car Company in 1914, the Dodge Brothers Automobiles, the DBA as it was originally, he started that with them, but then he got into an argument, he quit and moved back to this part of Ohio. Oh, evil. That's interesting in a lot of ways. Yeah, because for my grandfather Dodge was born in 1890. His wife came over in 1897, 1898, and then, like I said, up until the beginning of World War I, a lot of her family came over as well. And then my mom's parents both came over from Germany. My mom was first generation American. Her grandfather came over from Germany as a kid, and her mom came over from Germany, still as a kid, but a little bit older, like 10, 11. Hey, Sir Raymond of Legs, good to see you. Well, there's that, Raymond. Now, Joyce has the name Snyder is on both sides of her family. There is a Snyder spelled one way on her dad's side of the family, and Snyder spelled another way. Like one family is S-N-Y-D-E-R, and the other one was S-N-E-I-D-E-R. Not related to each other. But she had Snyder, or as it would have been in German, Schneider, on both sides of the family. So yeah, my grandpa was born 1890. My grandmother Dodge, who was Gitana Bogata, she was born 1892. My dad was born 1930. And I came along in 64. Admiral von Schneider. Yeah, Christopher Mondone, my great grandfather had 13 kids. All lived to adulthood. He single-handedly doubled the Dodge population in the eastern United States through his kids and grandkids. Boom! You're the fifth of 8 kids. All right, well, Sir James of Dundas, thank you for hanging out with us. Always great to see you, and especially having met you makes it even all the more special. All those wonderful people we got to meet up in Canada. Yeah, Tom, there you go. And that makes, yeah, Hughes Town. Yep. I just always wondered down in London, Euston Station, EU. I wonder if that is a variation of Hugh. Euston Station instead of Houston. The huh sound disappeared, and you've got Euston Station. No. Joyce is Irish, or although she is half German by descent, her family, all her relatives, her Redding name, her last name is Redding, Redding. It was Redding, but she changed it to Dodge when she married me. Her family are descended from a guy that came over to the United States in the 1860s with the name O'Redden. O''Reddden. He was O'Redden, and O'Redden became Redding. Your wife's father emigrated from Dublin. Okay. Houston, we have a problem. Yes. Your great-grandmother had her birthday on Tuesday, and she's still going? Yeah, when my grandfather died, he had great-great-grandchildren, which I will not live that long. I only have one grandchild now, and my mom has great. I don't know if my mother is a great-great-grandmother yet. But, like, my mom became a grandmother at the age of 40. And she's a great-grandmother many times over, but I don't know if any of those great-grandchildren are old enough and have had kids. Kind of out of touch with that part of my family. I'm completely out of touch with my family. Yeah, the thing is, the saddest thing in the world, I should say the saddest thing in the world, one of the hardest things for me emotionally is I worshiped my grandfather. My grandfather, Dodge, was the coolest guy ever. I worshiped him. And I can no longer remember his voice. I can remember his face mostly, but even that's becoming, and I don't have any pictures of him. When I was divested of my family, I didn't grab any pictures of my grandfather. I would love any one of the photographs of my grandfather and grandmother before my grandmother died. Their 50th anniversary photos, their 55th anniversary photos, any of their earlier photos. But, yeah, but it's weird to think my grandfather would be 135 years old if he were alive now. 135. That's a long ways to go. After Euston Hall, home of the Dukes of Grafton. Okay. She had 2 sets of twins. One was stillborn and the other only a few hours. Yeah, we didn't go that far. Joyce has lost 2 pregnancies, one at 4 months and one at 5 months. And those were emotionally very hard. I think that deep down, well, I don't know if deep down Joyce ever 100% recovered, but I think it took Joyce at least a year. And then she got to emotionally recover from the loss of that pregnancy. And then she had another pregnancy and lost that one. And so when we were pregnant with our second daughter, Joyce was scared the entire pregnancy. Like the first few months she was pregnant, she refused to admit she was pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. It's like, honey, you haven't had that time of the month in 3 months. Take a test. And she didn't want to. She was so terrified. And she was just so uptight the entire pregnancy with our daughter. She was just so scared. And, you know, I've watched Joyce give birth to 3 kids, and I've watched her lose 2 pregnancies. And any man who thinks he's emotionally or physically tougher than a woman should go through those experiences. Just because men on average are bigger and more muscular, we've downplayed women for a long time, but Joyce is as tough as they come. Oh, your mom. Hello, Leo again. Sir Leo. Your mom lost 5. Oh, that's horrible. See, and that's why you don't try to, because somebody's had it, you know, somebody's gone through even worse. Yeah, that's terrible. KJ, I use Märklin short couplers all the time. There are certain things you can't. It all depends on the size of the buffers. If you got really long buffers, then the Märklin short couplers may not work if it's a tight radius. But almost all my Märklin rolling stock passenger cars are short couplers. Like all these cars on this freight trade, almost all of them are Märklin short couplers. Well, hello, Sir Darren. Let me see. What do I think is my bad running locomotive? You mean overall, or do you think I have one running bad right now? The one locomotive I'm always scared of when I put it on, I don't think I have one. I don't think I specifically have one. Trying to think, which one do I put on and say, okay, you're going to work today. My class 146-2 that I tried to run last week, or was that 2 weeks ago, where it kept shorting out on this curve here. That is one I'm worried about. Now, well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you one that I'll say my 3 worst locomotives. And you. Is there anybody I should throw in as second? No. Okay. So my 3 worst locomotives. So I'll go to the next. All right. My absolute worst locomotive is this Märklin. It is a class 102, also known as a Skoda 109. It is so lightweight. It just has no pulling power. By itself, it runs fine, but even by itself, it does not like going up my incline. I run this on my live streams every now and then with just a couple of cars, because if I give it a 5-car rake, it can't handle it. I can crank it up to 100 kilometers an hour, and it's like, ooh! It's this by far, it runs fine by itself, but the minute it's got to pull weight, and yes, I checked the traction tires and all that, it was just a crappy locomotive, which is why I never bought the Czech national flag version of this. They released 3 versions of this. They released a Czech one, and then a Czech with the national flag on it, and then this one. Living up to its real life reputation. Okay, you said that. Hey, Sir Joe and Sir Ewan, welcome in, Joe Rader and Ewan. So this is by far my worst. Coming in a close tie for second is this Roco class 218. I should never have bought this because all the warning signs were there. I pre-ordered this because I wanted a 218 and I hadn't discovered cheap old versions on eBay, and Märklin was not making it. So the only 218 in Deutsche Bahn Red was this new Roco. So I pre-ordered it. Well, I pre-ordered it, and a year and a half later, I'm like, is this ever going to be released? And they said, oh, no, we canceled it. Oh, really? And then 3 weeks later, I got a letter from Modellbahn Shop Lippe saying that they were substituting the new one of these, the fixed version, because apparently the original run of these had all kinds of problems. This guy, all kinds of problems. It struggles getting up to speed. Maybe there's a CV code I could adjust. I try adjusting its speed. It doesn't work. It's a weak puller. It might pull a rake of cars on a flat surface, but there's no way it's going up the incline. So every now and then I'll run this on my layout, and I run it slow because it doesn't know what speed is. It's just a weak, poor puller. And then coming in third is the exact same thing, but in the Pressnitzbahn blue. It's the exact same motor, and it has the exact same issues. So these two are sort of like 2A and 2B. Although for some reason, this one does run a little better, but only a little. This can pull. It won't go up the incline, but it will pull. So those are the only 3 locos where I will tell you they're bad. Those are the only 3 I have. They all run. They all work. Sound and light functions are great, but they do not like pulling. And the worst of the bunch is that Skoda, which I broke the little, there's a little plastic tube that goes in here that locks the, I've got to replace that. I need 2 of them to replace. I've tried cutting very, very thin hard tubes of my own, and they won't hold. So those are the 3 bad ones. Other than that, all my locos that are not broken, and I only got 3 that are broken, and all 2 involve a decoder. I've blown the decoder in 2 of them, and I need to either send them out and get them fixed, or I need to try to fix them myself. Picking my favorite loco would be harder. Picking my absolute favorite would be harder. Oh, I've got locos, and of course, as I have learned, and Jean Jean Ricard, if he's still listening in the background. Have I ever tried to run them in doubleheader modes? No, Evo. I have never tried to do a tandem consist. I have never tried to. One of these days, I got to break down and do it, Evo, but I have never done it. But yeah, I assume in a tandem consist, they might work better, but they still suck. Hey, Sir Kieran. Hello, J94. But otherwise, all my Locos are great, at least the ones that I have now. I've had others that I got rid of. I had a really crappy low-budget Piko Metronom Class 146 I got rid of. I had a Piko Hobby, because right there, I have about 4 Locos I've gotten rid of where I bought better Märklin versions. They were all Piko Hobbies. I will never buy Piko Hobby level again. I love Piko, their highest level, whichever, what is it, collector? No, it used to be collectors. Now it's something else. Elite, I forget what Piko calls their highest range now. Raymond Legs, you and Evo got to know. Oh, the amount of cat hair. Yeah, there's that too. I am missing so much of the chat because I'm too busy chatting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to badmouth the company Piko. I've just had such bad luck with Piko Hobby 3-rail stuff. Usually it's 2-rail stuff converted to 3-rail, and it looks like we're freezing a bit. Because my internet is bouncing again. But I have just had such bad luck with Piko Hobby level. I've got my Czech Railjet here is Piko. And did somebody answer my question? What do they? What does Piko now call their highest level? It used to be Hobby, Profi, and Collector, or something like that. Hobby, Professional, Collector, but now they've changed the nomenclature. So their highest level stuff is awesome. My Czech Railjet Loco is a Piko, and it's a gorgeous runner. I mean, look at it running here. It's running smooth and beautiful. Classic. That's it, Raymond. Classic. Yeah, Piko Classic. That's their highest level. They now call it Classic. So I think it's Hobby, Collector, and Classic now. Piko Expert, Expert Plus. Okay, Hobby, yeah, Collector is gone. So is it Piko Classic and then Piko Expert is the highest now? Okay. Expert Plus. But yeah, this is a Piko Expert. And it's brilliant. My Alex, my 223 Herc Alex, in the lighter green, is a Piko Classic, and it's a good runner. It's fine. Otherwise, another one I have a little bit of issue with is my Märklin Rheingold, not the Bavarian Rheingold, but the other Rheingold, that class 18. does not like going up the incline. It's a great runner on smooth level. It does not like going up the incline. Again, you check the tires, but it just does not really like going up the incline. You have to really crank up the speed. What are Acme coaches like? I have got some Acmes, like I got the Acme Railjets. I don't like the couplers, but the cars themselves are very nice. I've got an Acme locomotive that I think is brilliant. Unfortunately, I blew the decoder on it, and it's been sitting for almost a year waiting for me to either replace the decoder. Unfortunately, the decoder, you cannot get the decoder from Acme. Acme does not have a spare parts department. So I can't get the decoder from Acme. So I either have to order a decoder, which is to do what that does, probably $100 decoder. And well, instead of buying one of those steam locomotives, I suppose I could have bought the decoder, but I have to buy from overseas. And right now that's just not going to happen. The only other loco I got, I have my 371. It's a gorgeous one. But Acme, I've got just a couple of Acme coaches, but they're good. They're sharp. They're nice. Let's see. What are my two blown decoders? I have a Piko 442 multiple unit that I love, that blue decoder, and I've got the decoder for it, but the screw to get to the decoder is stripped and I can't get it out. And I don't know how to remove that screw without damaging the shell and being able to put the screw back in. So that's sitting over here waiting for me to figure out how to get to the decoder to replace it. I've got the spare decoder for that. I ordered from Piko. And then I've got a Märklin. Well, I'll get that one. This was one of my absolute best locomotives. Absolutely one of my best. This guy. But I had an accident with it. Okay, no cats involved, just bad human. A couple of years ago with it, I crashed it. And then when I went to pick it up, my hand spasms, I picked it up and was moving it and dropped it. And the bogie, which bogie is it? One of these two bogies just started falling out. And it looks like I broke a solder joint. But when I got inside to look, I couldn't find an actual soldering point where these plates come in. And so I fixed it. I reintroduced it last year, was running it. It went in 3 or 4 live streams, and I was happily running this guy again. It's a class 101. This is one of my best and strongest pullers. This is an absolutely amazing 101. This was a fantastic locomotive. But anyhow, I started running it, and all of a sudden the bogie fell out again. Now, I was messing with it the other day, and I slammed the bogie back in, but I haven't tested it yet. But just out of the blue, after it runs for a little while, all of a sudden the entire bogie just drops, and you have these 2 metal phalanges on the side, and it looks like those should be like soldered, and the whole plate is falling out. But right now, it's going well. But if I run it in one direction, it'll go bump, 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 bump. If I run it the other direction, it's smooth. But yeah, so this was... Oh, hello, the Thomas and Sonic guy. No, I do not have any Thomas. My grandson has some tonic stuff. Thomas stuff, tonic. My grandson has some Thomas trains, but I don't have the Märklin ones, and I don't have the Bachmann or Hornby ones either. Oh yeah, yeah. This will easily fit my other 101, which I did once, where I just swapped the shells on them, EFO. So yeah, I could do that with my red 101 because they're the same. They're the same construct. But I just want to get it fixed and have it stay fixed. The problem is every now and then somebody's selling one of these online for $200, and I'm like, do I just buy a new one? But I'm still trying to figure out why it's broken. Why are you acting up? All right, that Railjet's eventually going to come around. I'm not going to see any train here, but yeah, I love this guy. And I really need to just get my head out of my butt. That's my number one thing is I have such brain problems that I really have to talk myself. I have to be in the right headspace, and I have to be thinking about it like, oh, hey, that's there. I think I can try to fix it today. So I've got 3 Locos, well, 4 Locos. I forgot that S36 is that Bavarian one. I blew the decoder in that one. So I've got 3 Locos with decoder, or 3 units with decoders blown. And then I've got this guy with the bad bogey out of the, I don't know how many running units I now have. I've got so many IC3s, I've got 2 IC4s, at least 3 ICE3s, 3 or 4 ICE2s, ICE1. I've got the ICE Amtrak. I've got the ICE Special Edition. That's just the ICEs. I've got the Czech Railjet, the Austrian Railjet, and then Lord knows how many steam locos I now have. So I got a crap load of trains, 40, 50 trains somewhere in there. Oh, nice, Squirrel. That's cool. Your first 009. Well, yeah, if you do Thomas, you'll find an audience. But see, that's what I'm about right there. Just trains running. I don't care if it's prototypical or not. Lots of trains running. Lots of trains running. I think I hear my daughter coming home. And there's that Amtrak just quietly chugging along. I didn't want to run them today, but yeah, why not? I wanted to wait till he had the cars. Yeah, that's curious that you mentioned that, Evil, because I have never noticed a Lima steam locomotive. Anytime I see a Lima, it's electric or diesel. So now that you mentioned they're very rare, Lima steam is rare anyway. Yeah. I can't confirm that other than just thinking about all the channels where they run Limas. And I've got a couple of Lima locomotives in DC. They did a BR-80, a BR-39, and a BR-10. Your answer is there's a prototype? Yeah, well, Raymond, if you ever get the chance, and maybe you haven't, I haven't noticed because I am subscribed to you, and of course you don't post much. If you ever do a live stream or really, you get those people, there's a wrong way to do it, and the only right way to do it is the way they do it, and they will let you know. They will let you know that car doesn't belong with that train. That baggage car does not go with those passenger cars. You've got trains. Is that a heritage line? You would never have that train on a heritage line, and that train would only go on a heritage line. And the idea that, I just throw trains on my track and run them angers them. Whoa, do they get angry. Why would you run trains if you're not going to run them in prototypical? Because maybe I just like running trains. Most famous Lima steam is the BR60. The neon orange or the green ICE. What I want them is to make, Märklin needs to make the Bundesrepublik Deutschland ICE4. I would buy that. Joyce would probably smack me up the head. You've got 2 ICE4s. Yeah, but I don't have one with the German flag on it. I've still got to put the stickers on that one. Well, this is just it, and I can go on a massive rant on this, Aaronville. We all talk about Rule 1, but half the people that talk about Rule 1 break Rule 1 as soon as they're done telling people Rule 1. There are way too many people in this hobby that scoff at Rule 1. They even say Rule 1 is for losers or Rule 1 is for bad modelers. It's their excuse to not get better. And I find those people absolutely disgusting. There, you can see some trains going along the top and then down at the bottom. Just in that bottom left-hand corner. Oh, we got 4 passing, 2 up and 2 down. And now we have 3 up and 3 down. End of an inning. What do you call 3 up and 3 down, Sergeant? Or no? What do you call 3 up and 3 down? End of an inning, sir? There you go, Chris. Exactly. I forget, because I'm on StreamYard, I can pop your comments up. That's about it. The thing is, whatever you want to do, have fun. I don't care how fancy the layout is or whether you have a layout or not. Do you love running trains? And do you like to share that passion? And too many people want to fix what's wrong with you. And, you can't do that. You just can't do that to people. There are people that it takes every ounce of emotional courage they have to make a video and put it out there. With not even themselves in it, just here's my train that I really like, because they dread the negative comments. They dread the negativity, and you're guaranteed. I don't remember the last video I posted that did not get at least one negative comment. I usually delete them, but every now and then I wake up at 3 a.m. thinking, oh, I really want to tear that person a new spleen. There you go, Randall. What is the total length of one loop? On my layout, the outermost loop, I think, is 76 feet. Well, I'll tell you what, my friends, let's do the math together. It'll have to do a little bit of estimating. Where is it? Where is it? Come on, Anthony, where is it? Okay. So if you look at this stretch right here, this stretch here is about 20 feet, okay? It's 20 feet. The length of the table is 23 feet, but obviously the curves cut it off. So it's about 20 to 21 feet. And then you lose a few inches with each line. So the outermost loop, it's about 20 to 21 feet here. Yeah, let's call it 21 because it's 22 feet long. So yeah, let's call it 20 feet. Let's call it 20 feet. Now, along that edge here, along the station edge, this is a 12.5-foot table. Take off a foot for the curve at each end. So that's 11 feet. No, I'm sorry, that's 10 feet, 10.5 feet. So we're at 30 feet. Then it's another 7 feet along this end that you see this guy. It's about 7 feet there. So we're at 38 feet. And then as it's coming here, where's my hand? There's my hand. As it's coming here, that's another 7 feet there. So what are we at? About 45 feet? No, well, 21 feet. And then, yeah, so we're about 45 feet there. And then about 5 feet in the middle here. So 50 feet. And then this table's a little longer. So we're looking at about 7 feet there. So 57 feet. Another 7 feet, 64 feet. And then that's 12.5, so 11 feet. So yeah, 75 feet. I said, what did I say originally? 76. So the outer loop is 75 feet, give or take a couple of inches. a few twitching eyes and hands. Oh, I get that. Sometimes I can hear it from behind the screen. Yeah, Badan Eisenbad, actually a former club member came to my house and brought his Piko measurement. And that's why I was trying to remember, because he measured it. Of course, it was before I expanded a section. But it was like when he measured it was 73 feet. And then I kind of redid some of the track work and I gained about 2 feet. So it all adds up. So 75 feet. So yeah, about 75 feet. Because I added a foot to one table. So yeah, the outer loop is 75. And then each loop is like something like 8 feet less. Was it 8 feet? 6 feet less. Let's say it's 6 feet less. So the outer loop 75, the next loop 69 to 70, and the next loop after that about 63. And then the two inner loops on this table are like 40 and 30. The two big circles. Oh, you like that camera angle? Thanks, Lee. Yeah, I like this one. I don't do these camera angles enough just because there aren't trains over here. I tend to emphasize for you guys, well, not even that one. I tend to emphasize this side because there's always a train on this side. Because you always have the three that are running the short loops. So I always do this one. A lot of people like this view because you can see the expanse of the layout a bit. You really can't see the stuff on this side very well, but you can see a lot of stuff on this side. But this is where the little bit of scenic work I did in the spring and early summer, this is where it really excites me and makes me feel good,
is that even though I'm not even remotely done and it's a very flat, boring layout overall to many people, to have this all green after 5 years, 7 years of seeing pink and brown, I love this. Well, now you got to add another 16 to 20 feet for that final most inner loop. Oh, I don't even know if it's that. It's like, what, a foot and a half that way, foot and a half that way, so 3 feet, and then 5 and 5. Oh, yeah, about 16 feet. Maybe 12 feet. 4, 4, 3, 4, 4, 1 and a half, 1 and a half. So, you know, if you wanted to just run one train and just have it go crazy running in and out of all these connections, you know, the turnouts, and just change the turnouts like I can, where I just click a button and open a turnout, click, you know, I could do it all on, yeah, this is not a touch screen monitor, but if I had a touch screen monitor, I could just sit here and go click, 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 and this train's going to go from lane 1 to lane 5. Now it's going to go into lane 6 and do a loop, and now it's going to come back out to whatever. That's what I did here. I think you guys can see it right here. I did this. This is a reversing loop. This is a, in my opinion, well-disguised reversing loop on lane 3, so that now I can actually turn my long trains around without having to take them apart. I can just run them down to lane 3 and reverse them, and they'll run the other direction. So like my Railjet, the way it's running, it's run that way most of its life. And it gets that uneven wear where it's always going around the curves the same way. So it's good to every now and then run it the other way. Doing the V200 and 300. Evo, Märklin is releasing that 215 and a 217. And I'm very tempted to get them just to have that family. And then I start going, yeah, but you know what I'd like? I'd like a Märklin 221 in the old German red, that 1960s, 1970s red, not the Verkehrsrot that they call it today, whether it was Deutsche Bahn red, whatever they called it back in the day, but that old classic red, because I love my V200 in it. So I don't know if I would get all of them, but I would love to have a 215 and a 217 to go with the 216s and 218s, the 221 from ESU I have, and then the 320 from Märklin, which is also one of my best locomotives. I won't say it's my favorite. I think it's really cool, but boy, if you start getting me down to favorite trains, it's my Railjets and my ICEs. And picking a favorite Loco, impossible. I have way too many. I love so many of my Locos. I can't have it. It would be like asking me my favorite kid. All 3 of my kids are awesome. I love them equally. I never understand where parents say, well, we love all our kids, but so-and-so is special. I could never understand that. You're off to the hay pile. Well, you should stop staying in stables and find a hotel room. But anyhow, thank you for hanging out with us, Simon. It's great. It's just, they just called it Old Red. Oh, and that's something I did, but the rivet counters would really have an excuse to get mad at me. I gotta start putting some of these Locos back. All right, come on, 101. I was gonna leave you there to remind me, but I've got too many Locos out. I need to put some of these guys back. Oh, 101 up here. I got one shelf for all the Märklin and then one shelf for the non-Märklin. I do segregate my Locos. There's a Well, you can't see it because the flags are up anyhow, but I have shelves over here on this wall that one shelf is all the Märklin locomotives except the steam. All the steam is on the far wall there. But on this wall, I've got I got one shelf for the Märklin and one shelf for all the non-Märklin. But anyhow, when I bought Herb's collection a year ago, it was a year ago that all the boxes were coming in and I was opening them. I got from Herb a Class 200, which is still over there. I didn't bring the Class 200 over. Man, I hate going to this, making you guys see this, but it's easier to see. But I got this Class 216, or no, I'm sorry. Let's do it this way. I got this Class 216, which I converted to digital, and it runs fairly well. It's clearly had a little rougher usage than some others, but it runs. It runs well. Not perfect, but it runs well. It took me a while to get it to work. This is the one that came in kind of dead, and I brought it back to life. Anyhow, and that's a 216. Well, he had another identical model that had this shell on it, but he had this spare other shell in the red. And so I converted this to digital, and this one really had issues, but I got it mostly working. It works in one direction, it struggles the other way. But anyhow, the thing is, neither of the shells had a screw. And I finally remembered to go to my store and just pick up a screw. But it's not the right type of screw, but they didn't have the type of screw I needed. So as you can see, it's got a little bit of a stack here. Okay, it's not the pre-sunken screw like it should be, as you see on this one. But until I can find a proper screw somewhere, it works. So now I can run this one, and it's actually running pretty good. This one runs well. This one runs pretty good. But I did fix them up. The V160 family is the 215, 216, 217, 218, 320, and the 210. It would include the Renfa 4000 series. Okay, I get that. Yeah, because the 160, but is the 200 isn't the 200 part of the 160 family, or is that a different part of the family? Like the 200, you have the 200 and then the 221 and the 320. Now, see, Simon, I would think that would look cool, even if it's not proper. I love the LNER Virgin livery. I liked it. I like modern era trains. Believe it or not, I tend to be a modern era train guy. So an old steamer painted in a modern livery, especially an A4, which is by far one of the coolest steam locomotives out there ever, any country, anywhere, in my opinion, of course. I love it. The Odometer's I got the part number from Maryland and searched that part number and found the money on eBay. Yeah, I probably got to just grab. The problem is none of these old locomotives do I have the actual book for them. I don't have boxes for the vast majority of these. Herb did not keep the boxes, which I know to many German model train people is a crime. But he didn't. So I don't have I got a lot of boxes with these, but some of these locos, I don't have the boxes for them. And I'm not upset about it. I got a bunch of cool Locos, and I've got so many of them running. And these are things I would have never bought, except I just bought this whole collection, and they were part of it. So I'm thrilled to have 2 different 216 now that I can run on my layout at the same time. These Märklin things are just, they're bullets, man. They do not stop. You can beat the crap out of them and they'll keep working. The Locomotion Corporate Blue, there's one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I see that on eBay, Thomas. And hello, Sir Thomas from Split Rock. It's awesome to have you here. There are just boxes. People are selling just boxes and they're asking $50, $100, $200 for just the box. And I'm like, holy crap. No. I'll just build shelves like I have and call it the Herb Shrine. I've got the Herb Shrine over there. And just let it be at that. Huh. Why is that not opening? Oh, well. Yeah, I like this shot if we can get trains going. I like this one. A couple of trains will come through there. Let's see if I can. I doubt it will work. I know it'll work. It always goes foggy. Video Ninja. Back camera. Connect. And see, it's doing fine. Uh-oh, there go the hands. All right, hands, knock it off. There we go. Yeah, as soon as I connect it into OBS, it goes grainy. But there you can see all my Steam Locos are on that shelf. All my Steam Locos are on that shelf. A bunch of my easy to assemble, disassemble Regio trains are on the shelf below it. And then behind those 2 flags, there's all my Märklin steam and electric, and there's all my Roco, Piko, and Brawa and Jägendorfer collection. So the top one is all my Märklins, and the bottom one is all my non-Märklins. And then over on the wall there, that is the Herb collection. That's not all the stuff I got from Herb, but that's the primary stuff, the stuff that I really wanted to display. But a lot of the cars and coaches I got from Herb are stored in that dresser, credenza right there, or in my storage trays down here, because this is where I store a lot of my cars. So these are a lot of my tin plates that I got from Horst So I just have all kinds of old stuff. Sometimes you'll say, hey, why don't you run that stuff? It goes by mood. It goes by mood, but so yeah, and then if you've never seen my command center, infinity and beyond, but my main computer, actually my supercomputer is down here that I run all of this with. My central station 3 is here, and then I can also have my central station 3 up here. So I've got all my controls. So I have a central station 3 where I'm controlling 2 trains. I've got a mobile station that controls one of the trains. My other mobile station's over here, and then I control 2 more here. So I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I control 6 trains without having to keep switching them on any of the controllers. There's my TV. So when I'm working on my trains, I'm watching you guys on YouTube, and then my collection of Dodge Chargers. And then another computer here that also controls. I often use this one to control because this is a touch screen, so it controls the switches. And then I've got a tablet that I can actually turn on and either use the camera as another camera, or I can control trains with the app on the tablet. I used to have 2 tablets, but I got rid of one. I took it upstairs. And then there's a little closer look at Delmenhorst. That is the actual city of Delmenhorst station with the bus depot in front of it. And then I will eventually turn this into what part of the city of Delmenhorst I can. And then my work table, which is the bar. We don't use that bar for anything, so it's my workbench now. So this whole basement, a poster I got from a Deutsche Bahn guy was going to throw it out, but it's a rail map from 2004. It's a rail map, the German rail line map of high-speed and regional train. I got that from a Deutsche Bahn guy in 2004. So there, okay, so let's get this out before my shaking hands make people puke. There we go. But there, that was sort of a little tour of stuff. Captain Kirk needs a crew to do the same. Oh, he can do most things from his little chair. It just keeps everybody else employed. So, yeah, I mean, it could do so much more if I were inclined. For example, I could easily, on my central station 3 here, where you guys get JMRI and you do your, or however you do your track planning, I can do that on the central station, and I could control all the turnouts and that on here. If I were to do motion detection, or not section detect, what is it? Block detection. That's what I'm trying to say, block detection. If I were to do block detection on here so I could route my trains, I could do that all with my central station 3. Or I could use, iTrain Gold or whatever and run routes. But I didn't want to do that. I still don't want to do that. People ask me all the time, are you ever going to do block detection? Not after I've got all the scenery done in. I'd have to rip the track out to build the block detection. And I didn't want to do block detection, because block detection is you're going to have your main line, your secondary line, and maybe a heritage line, and you're going to run 2 or 3 trains. My goal has always been to have as many trains running as I could, even if it meant sacrificing a prototypical, really cool looking layout with mountains and hills and blah, blah, blah. It's what I need. If I had just one train running around, even if I had beautiful hills and mountains, I would find it boring. That's why Miniature Wonderland is the best of both worlds, because Miniature Wonderland has all the scenery, but it's got hundreds of trains running. Hamtramck in Sweden. So yeah, my wife gave me nice, looks similar to what I have. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I finally just added this third monitor a couple of weeks ago. I bought it cheap on Amazon. So, I mean, if it's high tech, it's the lowest end of high tech, Thomas. It's the lowest end. I am a gadgets guy, but it sounds negative if I say it about myself, and I don't mean it that way, but I don't use all of this stuff to its maximum potential. I don't use my Central Station 3 for 20% of what it can do. It can do so much more. The reason I have the Central Station 3 is because I could control multiple trains without having to dial back and forth. It was easier than having this, where I could control up. When this first came out, was it 12? I forget how many trains you could first control with this, but you had to keep dialing through them. On the Central Station 3, I don't have to dial through, but as you can see, I have one knob. I have one knob for each of my trains. So each of my trains has an individual controller, but I have emergency stops on all of these, as well as on my phone and on my tablet. So yeah, I like the, hey, Sir Dave of Kiwi Variety. Yeah, Kira, and again, you know, I do not tell you, I will never tell anybody you've got to go DCC or tell them they got to go analog. You got to go with what you like. Now, the thing is, if you think old analog where you just connected the track and put the train on and run it, modern DCC is the same. You don't have to do all the fancy stuff. And the modern DCC, it's just, you can do more. You have the sound. You don't have to do, in fact, you do less wiring in DCC than you do with DC. But if you love those old trains, then you better stay analog and enjoy analog, because otherwise you've got to do all that work to convert them to DCC to work. I should say analog and digital. And there isn't a better. It's individual taste. You know, that's why when people say, hey, does that restaurant have good food? I like it. That doesn't mean it's good food. It just means I like it. So I love the Märklin. I love 3-rail track. There's a lot of people that don't love it, but I might not be this far into the hobby if I had gone analog 2-rail. There's a reason when my dad bought me a train set in 1969 that I didn't get into trains. It went in a loop and it was boring. The train had lights and it did nothing else. Now, I could have gotten some figures and maybe tried to build a village, but once we moved to a place where I had to always take it down, put it away, and then hope that this one space would be a bit, I just never got into it. I'd rather be outside playing sports or wargaming, and the model train never clicked. But it was getting a model train that was digital, and my train still run in a big loop. It's just not a little circle. It's now a big, giant. What would you call this shape? It could be an N. It could be a U. It could be a C. DCC shape. Oh, now don't go there, Brian. I know you won't. I would never say if you go DCC, you'll never go back. It's a comfort zone. But again, if you were DC and you want to get all these DC things and run them on your now, I'm going to say instead of DC and DCC, I'm going to say analog and digital. Okay? Because in my world, DC is the opposite of AC. DC means 2 rail and AC means 3 rail. Wechselstrom, Gleichstrom. Wechselstrom, Gleichstrom. Alternating current, direct current. AC, DC. And so many people use DC to mean analog, and it's so much in the nomenclature now that there's no point in fighting it. But I'll say analog and digital. If you're analog, it doesn't mean you're going to go digital and go, oh yeah, this is better. You may decide that there's too many things involved, but the number one reason most analog guys don't want to go digital, I think, is because they have all this analog stuff. I mean, the track doesn't matter. You can run all your old track in analog. You don't have to change the wiring. You just plug in the digital controller instead of the analog. But it's taking all that gorgeous old stock from the last 100 years since model trains came out and saying, wow, I got to make this digital now. The thing is, once you have digital, it opens up a can of worms. Oh, with digital, you can do this. I run my digital trains like analog. The only difference there's 2 differences with what I do between digital and analog. In analog, I can't have all the sound functions and all the other stuff I do. In digital, I've got it. The other thing is, in digital, I can run all these trains on one power source, which I do. These trains are all controlled by one primary connection, one 2-wire connection on this track right here. Actually, the connection is now here. I do have an additional connection that runs from there over to my middle parking area here and my high-speed parking area over there. So I technically do have 3 contacts, but I don't have any bus wiring. I have nothing under the table. And also with the Märklin C-Track system, wiring your points and even making your points digital is easy. Expensive, but easy. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with analog. Digital is not better than analog. It's just different. It's what do you want to do? I'm glad I'm digital. I might not have as much fun. And if I had wanted to run all these trains with an analog system, it would have been a lot of work. So I'm glad I came into the party late and started digital. But let's face it, guys. On your screen over there, down here below me, I'm running analog. I've got some cool analog trains going down there. They're beauties, and I enjoy it. Whoops, wrong one. That's the layout map. Floor cam. I'm running these beauties, and I'm glad to have them. And I've even been asked, was I going to make this digital? Because when Joyce bought me the Azuma, she also bought me a decoder. And my Dapol class 68 has a decoder in it. It can run digitally or analog. And that Mallard that Hot Dog Pilot Andy gave me is DCC ready. So I could easily make those DC. So I could wire 1 line digital and leave 1 line analog. Why don't I? Because I like the idea that I could run those trains on either loop. So it stays analog, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy I put the little green stuff on it to just give it a little, because this cannot be my primary layout. This is just a fun layout to celebrate my British and now some of my German mini trains. Oh, you got a lot fancy, Jeff. You got a lot fancy. Yeah, and that Hornby. And to be honest, somebody asked me years ago what I thought the next wave would be, and I said Bluetooth control. And 2 years later, Hornby announced and then released their total Bluetooth control. There's bugs in the system. It has to be sorted. But overall, I think it's a great idea. Then you don't have to worry about digital or analog. You still have to worry about powering the track, but again, rule one. And there are too many big name channels on YouTube, too many club members at all your clubs that need to be smacked up the head and told, rule one, if it makes that person happy, shut up and leave them alone. You can like it your way, and they can like it their way. As long as your trains move, there's no wrong way of doing it. You can wire something wrong, but once your trains move, there's no wrong in this hobby. It's like fishing. As long as you got your hook in the water, you're doing it right. Well, your hook should have bait on it. Okay, maybe there's a way that it would make certain things go even better, maybe. But if they're happy enough with the hook in the water, because really they're just about throwing the hook in the water and sitting under a tree relaxing, it's not your job to tell them how to do it. Hey, Artie, you don't have cameras. So, if you want cameras, you can buy them for $20. You can buy a couple of El Cheapo webcams for $20 or $10, and then a couple of USB extension cords, 25 feet to 30 feet. Once you go over 30 feet, you might lose integrity, but really with the new ones, you probably maintain it. And just set the cameras where you want and run the cords under your table. You've seen this. I've got cameras everywhere. I wouldn't say get 16 to 20 cameras like I have, but I'm not all here. And again, I didn't get all these cameras for live streaming. I already had 6 cameras for live streaming before I ever decided to live stream. I had 6 cameras before I decided to live stream. Let's put it that way. Because I just like the views the cameras gave me, Let's do this one. Let's go back to it. Okay. See, I think this is a cool view. I love this view looking into and across from a low level, the train going away from you, the train coming in. And when I get my Delmenhorst and have my bus system rolling finally with my Fowler car or my hybrid Wiesmann Fowler car system, when I get that all going, I love this view. I can't have this view without that camera there, because that is in the corner. That is in the corner of a room. I can't get back there. It is next to a wall. But I love this view, and I would never have this view if I didn't stick that camera there. And that camera's there. It's got a 20-foot extension cable to my computer next to my feet here. Hello, Langton Road. I want to say, was that Mark? And that's what, when people talk about the hobby dying, first of all, I say it really isn't. The aging of the hobby, the grain of the hobby might be a thing. But if you want young people in the hobby, stop scaring them off with your dictatorship mentality of this is the way you do it and you must do it this way and blah, blah, blah. Let the kid run their pink high-speed train. Let the girl run her, or the boy, let the boy run his Barbie train if he likes his Barbie train. Let the kid touch the stuff. Oh, don't touch that. It's expensive. Well, then have something cheap they can touch, and you're not going to worry about them breaking. My grandson isn't big into trains, but every now and then he's down here. But Opa lets him mess with the controller. And I posted a short a while ago, maybe some of you saw it, where Cayenne and I were racing our steam locomotives. That short got 5 dislikes. 5 people decided they didn't like a 4-year-old kid playing with his Opa's trains. But the comments we got from some Germans about the boy was mistreating the mobile station. No, he wasn't. Was he turning the dial down and up and speeding the train up a little too fast and down? Maybe. But he wasn't mistreating it. And if it breaks, I've got a spare. And if I have to, I'd buy another one. But I'm not going to beat the kid and yell at the kid and scare the kid where he doesn't want to touch it because Opa gets mad. And he's got all kinds of, well, let's get the camera here. I'm on my high horse, people. I told you I was in a mood to do when I started this live stream. You can see here, I've got all these cars and passenger things here. All this stuff down here. My grandson can play with any of it at any time. It's also my testing track and my programming track, but I let him play with it. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you got to risk it. Our friend Christopher, our fellow knight, Sir Christopher from Christopher's Hobby Blog, from Woodside Junction. I keep blowing his channel, his Japanese channel. He has met Mr. Kato himself, and he has stood there with the actual owner, the Mr. Kato of Kato Trains. He's met this guy a couple of times now when he's come to the UK for some train shows. And when Christopher was there a few years ago, a kid came up and started messing with this N-scale locomotive, and the parents were like, oh, no, don't touch that, you'll break it. And Mr. Kato came over and said, we've got plenty, let him play with it. Now, yes, he's the head of a corporation, and yes, it's no big deal for him to grab a few more, and we all can't be that way. But if you want to get kids in the hobby, have something they can break. Not that you want them to break it, but something, if it happens, you're not going to go ballistic about it. Let the kids play and mess with it. These kids have so much. These kids have so much that is two-dimensional. Computer screen, TV screen, video games. But you put a three-dimensional object in their hand, and it still means more. Like, oh, here's Train Simulator. Well, here's an actual toy train. They may not have the space at home, but you give them that. And I can tell you that from all the students I had in my classroom, that once I put a model train in my classroom, even the most hardcore gangbangers wanted to be in my classroom and play with that train. Those boys and girls would get their work done. Mr. Dodge, if I get my work done, can I play with the train? Absolutely. Can I make it go fast? Yeah, but you got to be careful. Okay. Yeah, it's really scary what they would do. Oh, see, that's good to hear, Sir Leo. That's great to hear. Oh, Opa brought him a train back from Germany. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations, Willie, if you're listening to the background. I can't wait to see your new train. I have got some trains that I bought from Herb that will be, and my grandson already knows which ones they are, and he's excited. He wants them. He just doesn't have the stuff, and maybe I'll buy it this Christmas. I've still got to get the decoders in them, but he's got a bunch of these KLVMs will be his. I was just waiting for the time. Exactly. Exactly. I talk with them, not at them. Yep. I talk at adults, but I don't talk at kids usually. I'm at a teacher. Sometimes I was a teacher. Sometimes you have to talk at the kids, but yeah, and if you like that challenge, Aaron, you go for it. I'm all in favor of it. again, that's why, one of my rules is don't offer advice unless people ask for advice. I'm not standing in your room to know exactly how everything works, and I don't know what exactly you want. I don't know what your dreams and visions are. Well, I will say what some people don't understand, what some people do not understand is that any digital train, you've got your Hornby, you've got your Lima. If it's digital and it's got a decoder, I can put it, because my Central Station 3 doesn't just run 3-rail, it runs 2-rail. It doesn't have to be Märklin track. You can connect this Central Station 3 to your standard track and control your layout. It doesn't have to be 3-rail. Now, in fact, Märklin makes a Tx version of the Central Station 3 for the 2-rail people. The only difference between the Märklin 3, the Märklin Central Station 3 and the Tx Central Station 3 is that the primary reads on the Central Station 3 are for 3-rail trains, and the Tx, it's for 2-rail trains. But otherwise, they work the same, and they would work. And you can put your 2-rail track up, connect the Central Station 3, put your decoder down, and program it. The other difference is that Märklin Central Station 3s are designed to automatically read all Märklin decoders, MFX, but it will read DCC decoders too. Exactly, Ipo. I was trying to explain it. But yeah, the preset output mode and the button color, right. And then, and again, I'm not going to tell people you have to get a Central Station 3. You can get an ECOS. You can get the Wiesmann, I forget the Commander or whatever it was called. The Z21 from Roco Fleischmann. They're all good. It's like Apple versus Windows. It's both interfaces are fine. It's just personal preference. It's personal comfort zone. And now I will say, kids are one thing, cats are another. When my cats, I can't tell you how much damage I have had to deal with when we had those cats and they trashed this table, which is one of the things that eventually led to me, A, the cats are no longer here, and B, getting some new work done on my layout. Because my cats trashed my trains. And the effects are still coming up because a couple of weeks ago, I ran my IC2 3 weeks ago, and it kept shorting out. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I finally picked it up. And after they had nailed my high-speed area and they must have jumped on that, they had knocked the axle out of position on that car. And I put it back in, so I'm sure it will work. I'm hoping it won't pop back out of position. But they had clearly, when they nailed those cars the last time, they had popped, and I never looked. I got them back on rail, but I didn't notice that one axle had been knocked out of position. Yeah, that was one of the ones I was thinking of, the Yammer ECOS. I had an ECOS before I got the Central Station 3. I liked my ECOS a lot. And in fact, I think the ECOS was better than a Central Station 2. But I like my Central Station 3 a little bit better than my ECOS, or a lot better than my ECOS. But the biggest thing is I felt my the ECOS was fine with my Märklin stuff, but it struggled with some of the Roco stuff that had settings, and like Brawa and Piko, it really struggled with those things in 3-rail. I don't know why. And I just figured like works with like a little better, so I got the I I sold off my E-Cost for the same amount of money I paid for it, and I bought the Central Station 3 instead. And I love the Central Station 3. This one has a couple of little odd glitches that I might have to just break down and do a factory reset, but I don't want to do that because it means reinstalling all my trains. Yeah, that's also very true. Yeah, Kyle, I've been I caught at least one of your shorts recently. I'm very bad at seeing shorts, which always sounds funny when I say that. Your short videos. I hate to say this, and good friend Dirk in Canada. I always want people to stop making shorts and just make don't make 5 1-minute shorts, make 1 5-minute video. Because I just miss all the short videos. I have so many people and so many channels that put up so many short videos. I can't keep up with it. And that's another thing, advice that I'd give to somebody starting up is, now I've been known to put up 4 videos in a week, but you can overload the system if you're putting up a lot, not literally overload the system, but when you see a channel and they've got 7 videos up in a day, you kind of go, oh, come on, man. I've got other videos to watch. Oh, well, no, it would have the memory. I'm sorry, Evo. It would have the memory. What I mean is that I'm sure there's a backup in it. I don't know exactly how it would work. It's just that if I reboot it to factory set, I would have to put each train on, and it would read those trains. It wouldn't reassign the addresses or anything. I would just have to, quote, reinstall them. But, yeah, I wonder if they would just have a quick reinstall. But, yeah, I just have a couple of little glitches that only in certain moments is annoying. For the most part, it. Oh, yeah, I had to explain that to my students years ago, Eric. When somebody asks you for a handy, they're not asking for what you think they're asking. That's not what you think they're asking for. It means a cell phone. Although nowadays, everybody just says phone. Hast du dein Phone dabei? Hast du dein Phone dabei? All right, well, Sir Brian, thank you for coming in and yakking, even though you caught me on a day where I've been on my pedestal preaching. Now, I'd say it's probably a 50-50 split, Eric. At least when I'm over there, I hear just as many people say phone now instead of handy. But I definitely hear handy too. Somebody walking by, yeah, ik ben on der handy. There's that Amtrak running through again. He's going to have a busy week because he's going to do a video sometime in the next week where he gets his cars, his coaches, and then they're all going to run next week. All 3 of my Amtraks are running next week. I got to decide what to run with them. I have I'm probably going to run my Desirol and Valaro. Well, I hope so, Mark. That would be awesome, Mark. And yeah, Aaron, you need to pop some videos up. I loved your table design. That was so clever and brilliant. Could be Ruhr area only. Well, I'm all around. In fact, the Ruhr area is the one area of Germany I have not spent actual time in. I've been on trains through the Ruhr, but I have never spent a day in Düsseldorf, Essen, Wuppertal. Joyce and I want to go to Wuppertal because Eric just posted. Eric, if you can, post a link to that short where you're on the Schwebebahn, the hanging down train. Other cities have it, but Wuppertal's is the most famous. All right, good night, Ifo. But what if you do want a handy? Then you got to give the international the international coded signal for that kind of handy. Well, I understand life getting in the way. I mean, life gets in the way of a lot of things. The one thing that I refuse to let life get in the way is my Friday live streams. Because Joyce's family, they have a habit of, let's all get together and do this. Let's all get together and do this. And they all go through, well, I got Friday free. I got Friday free. I got Friday free. I got Friday free. And they all say, let's do it on Friday. Joyce, we're all getting together on Friday. And Joyce is like, Anthony has his show. And they're like, oh, he can skip it once, can he? And Joyce is like, no, he's not. Well, you know, anybody who's seen Joyce's channel, because I take hours and hours and hours of video, and Joyce takes thousands of photographs on our trips. But we don't put them on this channel, except for certain train-related things. They're all on Joyce's channel. So there's like 13 videos that are all an hour to 2 hours long of our trip to Germany, as well as the previous trips to Germany, as well as the trip to Australia in 2024, the trip to the UK in 2022, the Germany trip of 2023, the Germany trip of 2025. John Ricard, are you saying good night, or were you saying good night to somebody? You may have a video in mind. Well, Karen, it would be nice to see videos from you too, but obviously, you know, I'm retired. It's easy for me to say, do this, do that. It's just, we miss you guys. I have got, you know, there are people that are subscribed to several thousand channels and maybe they won't notice, but I'm subscribed to about 500. And I do notice when some of my channels aren't subscribing. And in some cases, I eventually find out the person passed away. Because I stay subscribed. I stay subscribed. Like I'm still subscribed to Chris Whittingham's channel. He's been gone for 3 years now. But I will not, because I go back and watch some of his videos. When I'm feeling a little bit melancholy, I will go back and watch a replay of one of his live streams where we were having fun, or just one of the bits where he was being silly. It's just my way of, you know, keeping in contact with him. You're saying goodnight. Yeah, sorry, Jean Ricard. Joyce wasn't going to be here today. You stayed awake for nothing. That's it, Jean Ricard. You're not Steam Hair. You're Pastor Obadiah Prime. You were in today's episode. You were Pastor Obadiah Prime. So it's true. Daisy's not going to be here. Yep. So why are you here anyhow? No reason now. The only reason he comes to the live stream is to see Joyce. Hello, Chuck Schreiber. Welcome into the last 3 minutes of the live stream. But yeah. Sir Chuck of Schreiber, welcome in to another weekly gathering of the Knights of the Rhomboid Table. But yep, I have not heard Joyce come in, so her appointment was scheduled to last till 6, and she figured it was going to be longer. Joyce was having a lot of tests done on her. And that's all I'll say about the matter. All right, good night, Sir Kieran. Well, again, we had the glitch. We had the Rheingold, the TEE Rheingold acting up, but once we sorted that out, everything else ran great. That Amtrak guy is just running like a treat, isn't he? It's just awesome to have him going. I had to remember to put these trains away this weekend. Stop before you go up the incline. Oh, all right. Come on, up the incline. Rest of the way. Coming to a stop. Come on. Come on. I know I stopped you on the incline, so you're got to find your oomph to get up. There you go. All right. Da. Yeah, I can't wait to get the cars. I'm very excited about the cars because I believe they light up too, which bells and whistles and lights. And let's see, I got to get to this controller and shut that guy down. Yeah, I'm just letting the Amtrak run around. We're letting this guy slowly creep in and stop. But letting that Amtrak come around. Speed him up. That one from the driver now has severe whiplash after that. Yeah. Oh, I know Bernie. Yep. Yeah, I know Bernie. He started having me kind of co-host some of his live streams at times, right before the end there. But yeah, Bernie, Somerset, Andy, I'm still subscribed to those guys. But I just had a special bond with Chris, who plays many characters in the Matt Clarke series. He's Santa Claus. He plays members of the Far family in the Far to Go Railway, although they've all been killed off. And then now we have the To Go family. And Colin, by the way, Colin Wykes just sent me a picture last week and has become a character. Now his character won't be appearing for a little while, but he'll be a character in the new in this series, Series 4. If anybody wants to be a character in Matt Clarke, just, again, I need sort of the easiest thing to do is get a good front face where I get your neck. Don't wear a collared shirt. If you can, just try not to, or even take a picture of yourself from this far up without a shirt on. But it just makes it easier to splice you into outfits and other characters that I'm using. It just makes it a bit easier to do. And then if you have a preference, you want to be a good guy or a bad guy, or don't care, I always send, as Colin can attest to, I always send a proof, like, this is what how I've mocked you up. And again, it's all done with crayon and silliness. But I still have a ton of characters that I will be creating for this series, new characters. So if anybody wants to be a character, even just for an episode, for example, Artie was denizen of Big Gulch, but he only appeared in one episode. Other people like Randall, if you guys know the character Fredo, who appears in today's episode, I believe. Yeah, that's Randall Ellison, our buddy Sir Randall. He's Fredo Bagino. Hi, if you guys know Hi from H&H, over in the Netherlands. Hi is one of the members, one of the priests, the pastors in the SECS. Jean Ricard was Stanley Steamhair. Now he is John Philip Ricard, Stanley Steamhair's nephew. And so we have all kinds. Yes, you were a sheep farmer because I couldn't do kangaroo, but I thought sheep was very appropriate for an Australian. But be that as it may, I'm sorry Joyce did not join us. It's the first time she's missed one in a couple of years. But unfortunately, they're scheduling these things for that. So I want to thank you all for joining me on this stream and hanging in there. It's always wonderful to see you. It really does lift my spirits when I'm feeling down. And that's why I always resist it. It's not just about the streak. I have not missed a Friday in 289 weeks. It's been 289 straight Fridays. And I'd like to hit 300 and who knows, 500 without, 300 straight Fridays to go with that. So anyhow, I'm babbling. So all of you still here and all of you that will be watching on Catch Up and Make Up later, I want to thank you all. You're all so special to Joyce and me, and we hope we make you feel that way when we actually meet you in person, as we keep trying to do. So until next time, I must say, Auf Wiedersehen and happy trains. Take care, everybody.